Put on a suit. Drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Stay.
Now you're more fluent.
Makina, he's got three!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to the All American Hoops podcast, episode 46. We got one hell of an episode today. Before I get started, so as you guys know, I like to do for every episode, ever since like episode 20 something, I've been doing a thing where I give who wore that jersey number for the episode number. So I brought it up to Orry B before the show I was going to challenge him. So I know you're watching this behind Orry. So which player are you thinking of when you think of the number 46? So that's one thing to think about. But we got an awesome show ahead of us. The Mets are about to start, but we got some important things to talk about. The season's about to start in 5 days, so we're super, super excited for that. And the last time that I had Orry B on my show, we actually gave our picks for each award for the 2023-24 season. And now, since it's the beginning of the season, now I'm going to have him on to where we're going to give our predictions for the awards. So we'll be diving into the All-NBA teams, we'll be giving we have a little discussion about that and how the voters are going to vote. We'll do the same thing for the all defensive teams and everything regarding that. And then also we'll just give our predictions for the overall awards. So the 5 big ones are Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, Sixth Man of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and MVP. Oh, that's 6 actually. But yeah, awesome show ahead of us, and we're looking forward to it. This is the All American Hoops podcast. Welcome to the show. I'm joined by Orry B, aka Hoop Social.
How's it going today, man? I'm glad to have you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Super thrilled. We got an awesome show ahead of us. Just wondering, by any chance, did any player come to mind when I brought up episode 46?
46, as a Celtics fan, Aaron Baines.
Absolutely.
That is the guy that comes to mind immediately.
Yep. And perfect timing, by the way. I'm sure that he's a fan of the show because I'm sure he decided to retire the day before episode 46 was released. So, the legend that he was, obviously part of the 2018-2019 team, just started a few games, just set a bunch of screens, got dunked on a few times, but was never afraid to take on that task. So always a legend for that. And also Joe Star Jokic made a video today. I don't know if you saw it. It was on how the Aaron Baines fan club revolutionized the standing culture, which he would just come out with the most outrageous stats supporting Aaron Baines, which apparently the Celtics had like a significantly better record when he started games rather than him off the bench. But career cut short due to injuries, but was always a fan of the guy.
That's one of the guys that had one of the most awkward moments from Tommy Heinsohn, I remember. And he mentioned that he saw him in the shower once, remember, and called him the Thunder from Down Under.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
And I remember thinking, Tommy, I don't know about that. That was odd.
Yeah. Oh, Tommy. God bless him. But other 46 we got Andy Pettitte, the Yankees pitcher, and one other guy. I'm obviously not a Red Sox fan. I know that Orry is, but like you said, you're not that big of a baseball fan, are you? Or do you follow it a ton?
Not anymore. I used to follow it lot more when I was younger. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Jacoby Ellsbury, who was obviously played for both the Red Sox and the Yankees, he wore the number 46 for the first 3 years of his career, then turned to number 2 after that. But awesome show ahead of us today. As I mentioned in the monologue, the last time that I had Orry on, we gave our picks for the awards, and this time we're doing our predictions. So we're super psyched about that. But to start, we'll talk about our let's go into the overall all NBA teams. So obviously, there were some changes last year, and we talked a little bit about this last year, but we'll talk a little more about it now, simply because everything is in now. We all know what the criteria is, or not. Not that we knew what the criteria was, but now we know what the voters' mindset is. So based on the vibes that I got last year, is that though they did, it seems like that they valued the positionless thing not that much, and they kind of stuck with positions for the most part. I don't know if that was on purpose, but obviously there was the Jalen Brunson coming in 5th place in MVP, but Jason Tatum still making it ahead of him. So I don't know what your thought process. Oh, okay, not thought process, but what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I think it's so difficult to have any sort of consistency. The criteria ends up falling all over the place, and we've talked before about the tremendous parity in the league as well. So without having kind of a solid criteria and having the positionless piece, it kind of ends up being like we end up falling into the old tropes anyway. So what's the point of being positionless? So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, all this stuff is going to evolve, and we'll get more used to it as it goes on. So I guess it's just kind of a learning process.
Like I understand, like the league chart was in the right place to it, so where they said okay, like we don't want to have it be where Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic are getting screwed over anymore, to where they're coming 2nd place in MVP voting and then not making All NBA first team. I personally think, yeah, I agree with that. That shouldn't be a thing.
Mhm.
But however, as much as basketball has evolved, it's not a positionless sport. You need your point guards. You need your playmakers. Your point guard needs to shoot the ball a little more than they used to, but you still need a point guard. You need a big man. Your big man isn't going to be back to the basket like Dwight Howard or Hakeem. I think Shaq's a different animal. So yeah, I think he could have played in today's game, but yeah, but you kind of look back to basket like you need a guy that can stretch the floor, handle the ball just a little bit. Maybe not handle the ball that much, but at least be able to stretch the floor just a little bit. So you do need that to an extent. Even if players can do more than what they used to, basketball is not positionless. You need some sort of positions.
Right. You need some sort of structure. And
Yep.
and that structure has existed, post merger. We kind of know everything before that. Obviously, it existed, and it exists for a reason. And we've seen certainly evolutions of the structure. And like you said, we have certain expectations now, but the basic structure still kind of exists.
100%. And yeah, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we give our predictions for that. So
Hmm.
Joel Embiid came out yesterday, not yesterday. It was earlier this week. He said that he's like no longer concerned with winning accolades. He wants to win. He wants to prioritize his health, and that he never plans on playing a back-to-back ever again. To which Chilltown made a video on this earlier. He said if he were to do that, actually, he would miss about 14 games a year, which means he's only playing 68 games, leaving only 3 games of leeway if he wanted to qualify for an award. So, are you calling BS on Embiid's stance, or do we genuinely think that he's going to start, or that he's going to start prioritizing things?
I feel like at this point he has to shake up something. Our expectations have been met by Joel Embiid in the regular season. We need Joel Embiid in the playoffs. And that's what Philadelphia needs, is Joel Embiid in the playoffs. So if this is what it takes to have a healthy Joel Embiid in the playoffs, and it works out this season, especially with Paul George there, Tyrese Maxey, this fresh trio, we're gonna go, oh, that was genius by Joel Embiid. So I think he has to prioritize the playoffs. And if this is what it looks like, people might be upset that he's not put himself in a position to win any awards, but he's done the regular season stuff. He's maxed out regular season stuff. We need to see him at least in a conference finals at this point. So
yeah, 100% agree with that. Yeah, I don't know if that was me or you on my end, yeah, but one of us cut out for a second there, but all good though, yeah, because we're all good for now. Don't worry about it, but yeah, I just wanted to, in case the viewers were wondering. I agree with everything. Yeah, I caught everything in big picture what you said though. Yeah. Obviously ESPN and Bleacher Report has been releasing their lists of ranking the NBA players, which obviously everyone knows that like a bunch of those are like just meant to be for clicks and everything. But for like a lot of them, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that most of them had Joel Embiid outside the top 5. And a lot of the like the analytics guys and a lot of the guys who really enjoy watching Embiid play, they were like pretty riled up. Like they said like, oh, Embiid is clearly in the top 4. He's been so dominant in the regular season and everything. All that's true. If we have a regular season game where everyone is healthy and everything, Joel Embiid is. I don't want to say without question, but they're I think that Joel Embiid is the top 5 player in the league.
Yeah,
But
you can make that argument. You can make that argument pretty easily with a healthy Joel Embiid, and nobody questions that. The reason he gets knocked is because every season we have to start the season with last year's disappointment on our tongues, and so
yeah,
then we go to rank him, and we're like, he kind of left me with a bad taste in my mouth at the end of the year. So why would I put him in the top 5?
and I always struggle. I don't know struggle, but like I always like think about every year. What should my criteria be for if we're ranking players in the NBA? So I discovered this year that I'm going to do it based on if I want to build my team to win a championship, who do I want on my team? So then I separated it into tiers. So and I talked about this with Tyler Britton, aka Hoop Venue. There are certain guys in which that are better ceiling raisers than floor raisers. Like an example is Kyrie Irving versus Trae Young. If you want a guy to lead your team to win as many regular season games as possible, as their best player, Trae Young is your guy. If you want to build your team to win a championship, however, neither of them can be the first option in a championship team. But Kyrie Irving is probably the guy that you want on your team to be like the second option in Ferrell role.
Mm-hmm.
With Joel Embiid, is he talented enough to win a championship? Absolutely. But can he play an 82 game season where he's healthy for most of the year, lead his team to a finals run, and then he plays awesome in the finals to where his team wins? We haven't seen it. We've seen he's had his moments in the playoffs. He had a 50-point game against the Knicks last year. That was awesome. But I forgot which game it was, but the end of the game, he was foul baiting. Like he tried to get fouled, and then it ends up losing them the game. And even game 5 they ended up winning, but he was playing awful until he was playing awful until Maxey bailed him out. So I haven't given my full rankings yet. I haven't released that yet. But Joel Embiid is much lower than what a lot of these people have. So for that reason, if you want to put Joel Embiid in your top 4, top 5, I can go ahead and do it. There are far more than 4 or 5 guys in my opinion. Maybe not far more, but there are definitely more than 4 or 5 guys in my opinion that I want leading my team to win a championship than Joel Embiid.
Absolutely. Cool. I mean, once you change the parameter to what you changed it to, who you want leading you to a championship, Joel Embiid starts to fall.
And even if you don't factor in the lead thing, because me and my brothers have discussed this on the show before. We think that Anthony Davis, he's part of like the borderline of can he be the best player in a championship team? You probably need better offensive players around him, but as like the defensive anchor and a plus all-star level offense, he would be the best player in the team. Could he be the best player in the team? I don't know. I lean yes, just because of how talented he is, and you can kind of I think if you swap Tatum and AD, I think the Celtics would have won the championship this year. But I know some people disagree with that. I don't think, but I rank AD slightly higher than Embiid for that reason, even as the number 2 as well. Even if Embiid's more, even if Embiid is more talented. So now we'll actually go into like the picks for the awards. So we kind of talked about leaving these position lists. Bo, I know that we might prioritize different things. So I'll leave this one up to you. Actually, do you want to go third team to first team, or do you want to go? We'll go first team to third team. Actually, simply because it'll make things more surprising as we go down the line.
Okay, sure. So first team to third team.
Yep.
So, do you want to start?
I want to be a nice host. I'm gonna have you can go right ahead.
All right. Well, so my first team kind of reveals some things about some of my later takes, but the big guys are here. The the ones that we expect. Nikola Jokic is back on the first team. Giannis Antetokounmpo is back on the first team. Luka Doncic is back on the first team. I think those three are probably the most inarguable. I think you probably agree with that.
I do.
Now, this is where it gets a bit controversial. This becomes the Tatum Brunson. Where does SGA fall? Is Donovan Mitchell good enough? I have Jason Tatum, and I actually have John Morant rounding out my first team. I think, yeah, that's my take. That's my diamond in the rough. John Morant on the first team.
Yeah, for those of you loyal watchers in the show, you know how much I love that take. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the pre-show, but I'm fully expecting the Grizzlies to make a comeback, and I'm expecting John Morant to be just as good as he was in the 2023 season. Guy was filthy, and he got hurt and everything, but yeah, like he's a young guy. He's going to come back just as motivated, and he's going to prove the Leo wrong. I don't hate that take at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll get my first team actually. Since it is very similar. We got the same top three guys. We got we got Giannis, Luka, and Jokic. No surprises there. I'd be surprised unless any of them had unfortunately suffered an injury. I do think that they're gonna make it.
Mm.
Then I do agree that Jason Tatum's still gonna be the guy. I don't know how much they prioritize winning with. I know they don't really prioritize winning with MVPs anymore, but I feel like they might with all NBA teams. They want to have at least one guy with the best record. So, I do think that the Celtics are going to have the best record again. So, I think he'll be there. And then for the last guy, I do have the same exact All NBA team as we had last year. I'm going to have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Though, as I mentioned, I do love the John Morant take.
Yeah, see that was the tough one. I feel like there's really no wrong answer there because SGA is going to have a good year too, for sure.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and why don't we dive into our second team now? This is where this is where things are going to get interesting.
This is where things get very interesting because I feel like this is where the old guard could finally be replaced. And by the old guard, I'm talking about the Kevin Durant's, the Steph Curry's, and the LeBron Jameses of the world. Those are the guys that might normally be in this position. Those guys have been removed from my second team. And I created this under the premise that Embiid is not going to make it as well.
Same here.
So
yep.
I have SGA. I have Devin Booker. I have Anthony Davis. I have Donovan Mitchell. And is that right? Is that enough?
That's four. You have Shai, AD, Booker, and Mitchell.
And Anthony Edwards.
Oh, and Ant. Okay, there we go.
And Ant, yeah. I have that as my second team.
Yeah, don't hate that either.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So, definitely don't hate that. As far as it goes for, obviously I told you I had Shai in my first team. I do have both AD and Ant on my second team as well. And though I certainly don't hate the idea of passing this year, this is the year passing the torch of moving on from LeBron and KD and Curry. I'm gonna give them one more year because all of them, particularly Steph. Okay, no, not Steph. Particularly KD and LeBron. They played awesome in the regular season. Steph kind of had a down year. He was down in literally everything last year. But the Warriors did restructure their roster a little bit better. It's still not great, but definitely better than it was last year. I'm expecting Steph to have a bounce back year. So I do have yeah, in addition to Anthony Davis and Anthony Edwards, I do have the three faces of the 2010s basketball: Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry.
I like it. I like it. I I I I I have no problem with that idea because naturally none of those guys being there is going to be a surprise. I think
Mhm.
it's just one of those where, yeah, maybe I'm pushing them out the door a little quick.
I mean, and I hope this doesn't happen, but what are the chances that either LeBron, AD, or maybe not AD? I guess we'll include AD in that, even though he's young. LeBron, AD, or KD, unfortunately, go through another injury because all three of them were healthy last year, but the 2-3 years before that, all of them have missed stretches of time. But yeah, hopefully they're all healthy. But I'm just trying to look at things objectively.
That's exactly it. Is
Yeah,
you got to try your best. So
yeah. Why don't we move on to our third team?
third team. I'll let you start third team
Cool. Okay.
because
Yeah.
I'm still up in the air. This has become
Yeah.
very
So,
fluid.
yep. Yeah. So, I do have two of your third team guys. Sorry, two of your second team guys on my third team. I do have both Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell. He's a massive Mets fan. Easily my favorite non-Celtic in the league. I am going to add in Jaylen Brown. I'll forever die on the hill. I think outside of Anthony Davis, I think he's easily the second best second option in the league, and he's a very pluggable guy. So, and also also the league really messed up this year by continuing to hate on Tatum Brown because usually when teams win a championship, they take the foot off the gas. Tatum Brown are more motivated than ever because of how much they were disrespected over the summer. So, give me both the making the All NBA team. Give me both the making the All NBA team. And in addition to Jaylen Brown, I do have Victor Wembanyama. He'll fill out the center spot. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then for my 15th guy, I did not have John Morant on my list. Eventually, I do like the idea of including him there. I did have Jalen Brunson there. Jalen Brunson there first, which. I'm gonna stick to my guts. I'm gonna hold on to Jalen Brunson. I do love John Morant being there, but I do think the Grizzlies are going to be good because of John Morant and also because of everyone else around him. So, maybe you know what? Damn it! Because
You're gonna be compelled.
you know why? Because I have the Grizzlies at such a high seed this year, and if they finish in the top 3 seed, at least one of them has to make an All NBA team. So,
Right.
It's like then again, same with the Knicks. So I'm not going to cut Wemby though because the Spurs are going to stink, but he's going to be awesome though. Damn it.
Wow, this is rough.
Okay, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna cut Devin Booker actually, because I do think the Suns aren't gonna have the best year. I think the KD is gonna be good this year, and I'm gonna have to cut one. So yeah, give me John Morant instead of Devin Booker.
There you go. There it is. There it is. I think I basically, based on what you have, I had Brown. I think the only big differences was in my third team. I mentioned earlier that I don't have Joel Embiid because I don't think he's going to fit the criteria. Who I
Right.
do have, who I think is going to pull one out, I have Paul George on my third team.
Love that.
I
don't love it as much as I would have last year, but yeah, but I still do. Yeah, well, I'm still a big fan of Paul George, even if he's on the enemy.
That's it. I feel like he's still got something left in the bag, something left in the
I agree.
tank. He definitely has something left to prove.
Mhm.
And with Embiid not playing back to backs, it gives him a chance to be number one option, maybe more often than he might have been in another situation. So, I don't know. I think Paul George could be an interesting figure in that third team spot.
Yeah. And I'll mention what we talked about in the pre-show. So it's hilarious how I'm actually going to pull up my top 100 on my phone real quick, just
Sure.
to just so we can get the idea of this. So outside the big guards that we mentioned, so 1 through 15 are all guys that we mentioned. I did have Kawhi Leonard at 16. I don't know if I'm going to move him down or not. I haven't decided yet. But just to move it down quickly. I'm going to say stop. When you think that there's not a guy that can't make the All NBA team, and I feel like I'm going to go on for a very long time when I say this. So We got Wemby, John Morant, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Paul George, Paolo Banchero, Rudy Gobert, Domantas Sabonis. I guess Gobert probably won't make an All-NBA team because of usually they don't really value defense that much.
Right,
Um,
right.
Yeah, Sabonis, Karl Anthony Towns. I feel like that's more likely now that he's on the new team.
Yep.
Trae Young, Larry Markkinen, Pascal Siakam, Zion Williamson. Zion's health is a health issue, so I would say that's very unlikely. And then there's a cutoff. So after that, we have the cutoff of Jamal Murray and James Harden, Chet Holmgren.
Sure.
Chet's more of a maybe actually because of the center position. Yeah. So Chet's there's even like the young guys like Scotty Barnes, Jalen Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr., Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham. Those guys aren't likely, but
listen to the amount of names. Listen to the amount of names that aren't going to make it.
And I skipped over guys like DeMar DeRozan and Julius Randle because he's like those guys are all-star caliber players. Julius Randle made the all-star game last year. DeMar DeRozan was just behind a couple of those guys. I just listed more than 40 guys that could make that could squeeze into an All-NBA team, which is only 15 guys.
That's wild.
It is wild, which is why I'm actually not, I used to be opposed to this. I know that JJ Redick has advocated for extending the All-Star game to like 15 players in each conference. I'm for that, but I'm also no longer opposed to creating a fourth All-NBA team because the league is bigger now and it's more talented than ever.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And I know people have this thought in their head that kind of waters down things, becomes kind of like a participation type of thing, and that's just not the case. We have so many talented people that we need more categories.
There's more talent. There's more teams in the league. There's more wear and tear in the body. Yeah, like both of us value the history of the game a ton. And I can tell you for sure by adding more All-NBA teams, this is not by any means disrespecting the guys who played the game for so long. This is only a matter of this makes things more equal, in my opinion, if we add another All-NBA team.
Exactly. I think that's a good call.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll move on to the All-Defense team, which I'm imagining that we won't talk too much about this just because we talked a little bit about the positions, and I feel like with defense it was even more of a thing where it was more of an uproar not an uproar, but I feel like more people were critical of getting rid of the positions for all defense. But I'll actually get my All-NBA first team because so this is predictions, by the way. This is my picks. So if say that all these guys played like they did. This is how I think they're going to play. It's not necessarily how I would vote though. If they played like that type of production. So last year they had 4 bigs and 1 wing in Herb Jones. I think this year it's going to be 5 bigs for the all defensive team. So give me Anthony Davis, Victor Wembanyama, Bam Adebayo, Evan Mobley, and Rudy Gobert. I think that AD, Gobert, and Bam are in a tier of their own. I think those are the 3 best defenders in the league. Wemby's up on the rise. I think he's the clear number 4. And then after that, since it's only 10, I'm gonna get my second team too right now.
Sure, yeah.
So I have mostly guards and then 1 big for the second team. I got Derek White, Herb Jones, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Suggs, and Alex Caruso.
There we go. Big differences, really. I mean, we have Evan Mobley on my first team. I have Jaylen Brown and OG Anunoby on my second team instead of
Derek
White pick.
Yeah,
I have this feeling about Jaylen Brown, and I think that it's been budding for a while, this defensive tenacity. And I think it might come to a head this year. And I'm expecting big things defensively from Jaylen.
100%. And the thing that bothered me the most, because it wasn't necessarily bothering me that he didn't make the team, it was more so about how few votes to both Tatum and Brown got, which I understand that both D White and Drew made it because of their guards and that part is understandable. But like, if you want to make a position list, I feel like that's, I don't know. This may be a bad take, but I do think over talking about overall impact, I do think that Jason Tatum is the most impactful defender on the Celtics. Given that, if I say that out loud, it kind of sounds wrong, but The fact that he can guard centers, and then teams have to make a decision as to whether they want to switch or not, because you got JB guarding, being the point of attack defender sometimes. Then if you switch, it really doesn't make that much of a difference when you set the screen. So, so the fact that the Celtics have 4 guys that like, if you say they're going to make an all NBA team, all defensive team this year, then you say, oh yeah, sure, that's not a bad take at all. So, which I feel like most people, even like non-Celtics fans, would agree with us. They say like, oh yeah, like yeah, sure, maybe Tatum makes an all defensive team this year.
Yeah, that's what they're going to call us homers, but it's not unrealistic. It's still an objective take, I believe, because of what's been, like I said, what's been building up. I mean, I think there's something coming, or there could be, because the motor is there.
Absolutely. Now we'll dive into the actual awards. So we got 6 awards. We have like one more award actually, which we'll go to that one first. I didn't include in the agenda the Clutch Player of the Year award. Yeah. Which that one's really hard to predict, just because it's all about I feel like it's all about A, moments, and B, just which teams are in close games the most. So which obviously guys like DeMar DeRozan's clutch, De'Aaron Fox, Steph Curry, Dame. Anyone else come to mind for you?
Just for the sake of being a little different, I think I'm going to go with SGA as the clutch player. I think
that's a good one.
I think he'll be put in a lot of positions where they're going to need clutch baskets, and he's going to have to provide those. And so, I'm going SGA.
That's a good pick. I think I'm going to go Anthony Edwards actually.
I like that.
Yeah. I think the Wolves are going to be in a lot of close games this year, and he's going to be. And they don't really have I guess Randall is a good shot creator, so he'll be another guy that they can. What's that word I'm thinking of? That they can like default to. If Vance getting doubled, they can pass the ball to Randall, which I understand Randall isn't really great in the playoffs, but he's definitely hit some clutch shots before.
Sure,
he was that guy. He was that guy that hit the corner 3 against. I think it was the Heat. If I'm not, it was that game.
That one where he like caught it up and just threw it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I was at my answer for that. Some games that you just remember. Actually, it wasn't that long ago, so so I should remember it. But so Anthony Edwards, shakeout down to good picks, I think. So why don't we talk about Coach of the Year? Who's your pick for Coach of the Year this year?
I'm gonna sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm going with Taylor Jenkins from the Grizzlies. I think we've kind of talked about how the Grizzlies are just apt for a comeback season, and if a John Morant's healthy, everything's going to look good on that squad, I believe. So I think he's going to be in position to get that award, because they could be a 2 or 3 seed, and it's not going to surprise a lot of people.
My mic cut out of there. Can you hear me?
Oh no, you're good.
No. Okay. All right. Okay. I was trying to show you my paper because I do have Taylor Jenkins winning Coach of the Year as well.
Nice.
He came in second place in Coach of the Year voting in 2022. I thought he should have won. Monty Williams had a great season. Don't get me wrong, but I would have given the edge to Jenkins just because the Grizzlies kind of popped out of nowhere. But I think the Grizzlies are going to be awesome this year. Obviously they got experience now. Obviously, it surprised me. Marcus Smart is actually the oldest player on the team now. They got the defensive personnel. They got a great overall team. Anyone else come to mind?
And they got a steal in the draft with Edie. So yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
In my opinion, at least. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be. Yeah, that would. I'm so in on the Grizzlies that Taylor Jenkins was really all I was going with. I mean, the only other. Taylor's my guy. He's my guy. I'm all in.
Love it. Other possibilities, obviously, Dang is a possibility to go back to back. I wouldn't be surprised. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to, because the Thunder have such high expectations. What other I guess former Celtics coach Ime Udoka would be a possibility because of the Rockets' passing expectations, but I don't know. Yeah,
That that's a very good call because the Rockets, I think, could surprise some people and make it to the actual
mhm.
playoffs, not just the
I,
play in.
I wouldn't surprise me at all.
And if
Yeah,
that happens, yeah, that'd be
mhm,
hard to keep
yeah,
Ime Udoka out.
absolutely. I'm trying to think of who else. I guess Chris Finch, another possibility. Chris
Yep, Chris
Finch.
Finch is a good call.
Yeah,
That's always a good. Maybe um, uh, Mosley for the Magic.
he was.
Orlando
Yeah,
is bound.
he was gonna be he was gonna be the next one actually that I said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're bound
Big
for
Magic guy.
possibly big
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
They're one of those
Obviously,
teams that kind of have a high ceiling. You're just not sure if they'll actually get to it.
yes, exactly. Yeah, they do lack they do lack some offense, so that that'll be a little tough. Something maybe that's something they worked on over the summer. I'm not sure. Um, I'm also a big fan of Kenny Atkinson. He's the brand new coach of the Cleveland Cavs. So, yeah, and we didn't mention Joe Mazzulla, just because the Celtics have a stacked roster, and he's not going to get his flowers up until he has a up until he has like a tougher road ahead of him. Which obviously we're hoping that doesn't happen anytime soon, but unless it's for the sake of Missoula, that's the only thing that would be if the Celtics slipped off a little bit, but. Um, which sounds weird because if the Celtics have to get worse in order for Missoula to actually get credit, which that's a little weird.
That's bonkers. Yeah,
Yeah,
it,
right.
it would
Yeah,
have to. It would have to be they'd have to get worse, or they'd have to do something ridiculous and win 69 games or something.
you know what should happen actually. You know what actually might like in order for like and I'm stealing a joke right now, just so you know. Yeah, I think that someone has to get an all-star level player has to get hurt on the Celtics during the playoffs. He also has to inherit a team which a week before the season run into a ton of adversity, and then he would get his flowers. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened actually. So
Yeah, right.
yes, yeah. Yeah. Shout out my older brother John, for giving that take last week. Yeah, but we'll move on to the rookie of the year now. I think I have a feeling as to who. Actually, I don't have a feeling at all yet. Who'd you pick for rookie of the year?
Yeah, this is rookie of the year was a tricky one for me. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's going to be somebody that we're not expecting. Like it's a dark horse
Mhm.
candidate, but my instinct tells me Reed Shepard is gonna win, and
That's yeah.
I can't get off of it. I feel like his shooting is gonna translate.
I
Um,
don't hate. Yeah, I don't hate the take at all. I'm not a big college basketball guy. I don't really pay attention to overseas or the G League either.
mm,
For no reason. Yeah, it's mainly just like a timing issue. I'm obviously invested into this and have a life outside of this. So yeah, it is tough to
sure.
be a big fan of multiple leagues, especially when I'm baseball and a football fan as well. So yeah, it is tough to like commit to like another league. But yeah, Reed Shepard, I don't hate that take at all. But yeah, Zach Edey was my pick actually because he's going to be the starting center of excuse me. He's going to be the starting center of what I think is going to be a contender. He'll probably be like the fourth or fifth best player on the team, so maybe that's going to hold him back a little bit. But yeah, I don't hate the Reed Shepard take at all.
Yeah, and I don't hate the 80 take. I really think that Memphis got to steal. I couldn't believe that he slipped that far. I mean, I understand, people try to say that he has, limitations, but we just saw Nikola Jokic, as a big and what a big is capable of. And now we have this talented, polished big that was coming in, and we're just going to be like, he can't be that great. Let's let him slip. Like, yeah, Memphis is gonna be tough. Zach Edey has some real potential.
Absolutely. And I forgot who said it. Like I'm sure multiple people said at this point, but if Zach Edey like turns out to be like not even if he's like an all-star, I'm not asking to be an all-star caliber player. Like if
Mm,
he's just a solid starter for like maybe, he's probably not gonna play for that long. Easy 7-4, but like if he's just a solid player for 5 to 7 years, this would be one of the more I'm trying to think of the word one of the more like messed up view of a prospect that we've seen in a while, just because and maybe it's just because like it's he was like a higher profile player, but just throughout the entire tournament, he was dominating the entire league, and no one was appreciating it. They were just saying, "Oh, he's going to be trash in the NBA," including Draymond Green. He was just
Mhm.
like he had like well, he wasn't playing great in the finals, but like I should say to his standards because he still had like 30 something points. But yeah, Draymond just like said like, oh, of course, UConn was going to win this game because like Purdue is lazy or whatever, and Zach Edey can't be leading the team. Like first of all, like yeah, it's so much for like a player empowerment guy to be commenting like that, but then um yes, it's so like yeah, like I love it, like, and it feels weird calling him an underdog just because he's 7'4" and like dominated the college thing, but like I'm rooting for the guy. Just yeah, like I always love a guy who just proves everyone wrong.
Yeah, 100%. You totally nailed it on the head when you say that he's kind of gotten that underdog spirit now. So it feels like somebody that it's like, yeah, it's easy to root for, and you definitely want to see him succeed in the league.
100%. Um, no one else really came to mind, to be honest with you. I don't even this sounds awful, but like what was the name of the first overall pick again from the Hawks?
Ricochet there.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
last name, yeah. Which
I feel
which I feel crazy because this is an anecdote, but I was in my fantasy basketball league and he was drafted in the last round. And I thought to myself, when has the first pick of the draft been so just like ho hum, so meh?
and it's yeah, and it's not. It'd be one thing if it was like a big team that like just like got like if it was like the Celtics who just got lucky. Yeah, like if it was like yeah, like obviously I'm sure that I wasn't playing fantasy in 2017, but I'm sure like that Jalen Brown was pretty low as like the third pick. But like yeah, you're right. The Hawks aren't even a good team, and he's that low. So um, I don't know. I don't know much about his game. I do know I do know that like if I were like the GM of a franchise, I wouldn't want to build around a smaller guard, but I don't know much about his game, so yeah, I'm not
He's
going to draft the guy too much because I know nothing about him.
he's essentially like one of those guys that can shoot the three, kind of the like that 6'8", 6'9" frame, and like just I feel like we've just seen a lot of what he is. And
Yeah,
that's probably the issue, is it's not that he's gonna be bad, it's just that maybe he's a little too cookie cutter.
yeah, I think that's pretty good way of putting it. To be honest with you, yeah, but yeah, I don't remember what the draft odds said, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that Shepard and Edey were the first two guys, and everyone else had pretty high odds after that. So maybe if you could just do a coin if you're a gambler, which I gamble on some things, but usually not the awards. But if you I feel like you could just close your eyes and click on one. That might be your
Mhm.
best bet if you're going to go by value.
To be honest,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So most improved player. This is hands down the most hard one to predict because everyone outside of like the top 10 players are available at this point, especially because what's your take on like the I'm trying to think of the word. I'm struggling with my vocab today. Of like the culture, maybe not the culture, but like the idea of the most improved player of like the current day idea of the most improved player.
I don't like it because
Me
I
neither.
because to me the award should signify somebody that's kind of been in the league that maybe improves in a way that wasn't expected. Like I feel like a guy like being a rookie and transcending to a sophomore and then transcending to a third year. Like I feel like it's difficult to give the award out to somebody in that situation because there's kind of expectations. When it's I'd rather have it given out to somebody maybe that just improved in a way that wasn't expected. And maybe that's silly, but that's just kind of always been what I wanted for my parameter for that award.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, like he's my even as a Celtics fan. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. He shouldn't have won the award last year. He was yeah, I even said the year before he wasn't an All Star, but I said the year before I said I think. I think that Tyrese Maxey is going to make his first All-Star game this year. I think he's going to make the jump, and most people like I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people agree with me because he's a younger guy. He's up on the rise, and everyone knew that.
Mhm.
like Kobe White to make the All-Star game, but he improved significantly. And I definitely thought he should have been considered at least. The year before, Larry Markkinen won. Larry Markkinen was the perfect pick for that. And I know that I'm pretty sure that Brunson came in second. He would have been a perfect pick because he just left the Mavs as like a player who wasn't even in consideration for All-Star game. But then the year before, John Morant won. So I see that Wemby is the favorite to win it this year. That would be a big mistake.
Exactly. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I feel like, because he's supposed to improve. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like a strange way to kind of give out that award.
Which means, so I was deciding between two guys, and it feels, and I feel dirty for, and I don't feel bad actually, because this is me making my predictions, but yeah, I do have two guys that I picked for the award. So my first pick that I essentially ended up going with was Cade Cunningham, former first overall pick. However, and other people say, oh, he's been playing great. He's not been playing great. He's been he's been good. He hasn't been great. I think that this year he's going to jump to all-star level. He's going to be that guy. My cold take is that I think the Pistons are going to make the play-in tournament this year. We'll see what happens. I'm a big Pistons guy. Yeah, I like JB Bickerstaff. I love Tobias Harris as like the veteran leader, and I think the young guys are going to continue to improve. So, that's my take this year, and I think the Cade Cunningham is going to be a reason for that. And the second guy that I had is the guy who was drafted right after him. I got Jalen Green. As I mentioned, I think the Rockets are going to be great this year, and I think that both the big three of Van Vliet, Jalen Green, and Şengün are going to be great. And I think that Jalen Green is going to be the one to take the biggest jump.
I like that. I like that a lot. I didn't even think about Jalen Green. Cade Cunningham, I totally agree with. He's on my list as candidates.
Neither of these guys should be eligible, though, in my opinion. But again,
and that's definitely the other guy actually I have on there as kind of my dark horse is Austin Reeves. I think Austin Reeves needs to improve, and I think this is his chance to improve. And I think if he were to do it, this would be the season to do it. And so he's my dark horse, guys. I think Reeves might be able to do something because he has the numbers that could be improved.
I like that. Yeah, I don't know who else was under the betting odds. I think it was like a bunch of other all-star-esque players. I'm like, guys, come on. I don't like this.
Yeah, that's tricky. Like the other guy I had trouble with, not to like go, was RJ Barrett. I was granted he doesn't have like a ton of room for improvement, but I think he's one of those guys that kind of is in la la land when it comes to what his stats are and who he is as a player. So maybe he could kind of improve on that potentially. So
I'd be fine with him winning it actually, because even though he was a third overall pick, he was drafted in 2019, so that's over 5 years later, and he is playing better than next. If you would have draft the all-star level player, that would be rising to the occasion. So I'd be that he would be a guy that I'd be 100% fine with winning it. So I'm just scrolling. I have DraftKings open right now, so let me just swipe through the awards. For most improved, so Wemby's 1, J-Dub is 2. Which I'm pretty sure J-Dub finished in like the top 3 last year, if I'm not mistaken, which second player shouldn't win. Evan Mobley 3. When was he drafted 3rd? I think he was in 2021. Yep. It was Cade, Jalen Mobley. So I don't know. He's already good. Like he's already a very good player. Yeah.
Right. So, like how much improvement is an improvement?
And I guess because like last year, if you would ask me, I probably would have said he's the 3rd best player. Probably be like, and that was actually like behind Mitchell and actually I think and Jared Allen actually because Garland had a pretty bad season. But yeah, so if he tries to like be like the 2nd best player in the team, and the Cavs finishes like a top 2-3 seed, maybe, but I don't know. This one I like
possibly. I mean, if he gets that deep boy, maybe,
maybe, if he rises to that level. These next two actually I'd support Jalen Johnson, who I'm a big fan of actually, and Jonathan Kuminga as well, which I think is a possibility given the Warriors' low expectations.
I love the Jonathan Minga pick. That was somebody that I was thinking of as well, just because he seems like he's right on that precipice of being like a 20-point scorer. So
Absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. So we'll go to sixth man of the year, which I'll let you go first because I've gone first for the first couple ones, but yeah, I do have I decided to go bold for this one.
This I don't know if this is a crazy pick, a hot take. I'm not sure what this is, but given light of recent trade activity, I'm going with Dante DiVincenzo. I think with Minnesota, he might make an impact that people are fascinated with the Randall portion naturally because it was Randall for Cat. But I think DiVincenzo could be a piece that shows himself to be more valuable than people think.
That's kind of like when the Clippers paired up Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams, both of them six man of the year candidates. Trez ended up winning that year. I think he did. Yeah, he definitely did.
Hmm.
Because it was funny because that happened, but then I also remember the Lakers trading for Dennis Schroeder and then also signing Harrell. So that was again the two of the top six man of the year candidates. So yeah,
Right.
I support. Yeah, so yeah, I do support an idea of a Nas Reed versus Dante DiVincenzo, six man of the year race. Yeah,
Yeah.
Malik Monk is number one in the betting odds. I support that 100%. Yeah, like I'm a big
Hmm.
shout out possible shares. Even though the two of us are beefing now. On the Kings, yeah, I'm expecting big things from the Kings. My pick, however, and Celtics Nation, don't get pissed off of me. I am, however, going to go with Jaime Jaquez Jr. Actually, um,
Ooh,
yeah,
I
that's
like it.
like yeah, I know that it's a bold take. However, I'm expecting him to take a jump this year. I'm expecting, um, I don't know what to expect from the Heat because I'm a fan of Bam Adebayo's play style. I don't really believe in Jimmy Butler in the regular season, but I don't know. Maybe when Jimmy
That's
gets rest, Hawkins is going to be the guy to keep the Heat relevant. So yeah, I do like this pick, even though like he is like probably like the seventh or eighth down guy down the list.
Yeah, but that's certainly interesting because he has the talent. He just needs to be put in that position. And really, yeah, it's Miami is such a mystery because once they get to the playoffs, they can be dangerous. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
if they're going to hold it together in the regular season long enough.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, betting odds goes Malik Monk first, Nas Reed second, Dante
Mhm.
third, Karis LeVert fourth. He's on the Cavs. Yeah, I was thinking whether he's on the
Yeah,
Pacers or the Cavs. Yeah, he's on the Cavs. Buddy Hield. Oh, Buddy Hield. Yeah, he's on the Pacers. Buddy Hield fifth. I don't like that actually. I'm not a fan of Buddy Hield. But
yeah,
wait,
I don't
wait,
see it.
no, he's on the Sixers or
He's on the
Pacers.
Warriors, right?
He's on the Warriors. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Here, completely, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's the best guy off the bench. But yeah, I digress. CJ McCollum. I didn't even know that he wasn't starting. I
Oh,
thought they were going small ball.
I guess that makes
What
sense because they must be going what Murray, Ingram, Zion. Who are they?
Herb's playing
Herb
center, so I
and
don't even know who their other guard would be.
yeah,
I'll, I'll check that in a second.
yeah.
Yeah, so
That's interesting.
so CJ was sixth and Jaime Jaquez Jr. was seventh. So plus 1,500 odds. Maybe I'll slap $5 on that and maybe you can pay
I
off. But we'll see.
was gonna say it's
So
time to hit that one quick.
yeah. My students, if you're watching this, don't gamble yet. I mean, gamble responsibly. Like I said, like I just said, $5. That's responsible gambling, by the way.
Right.
So, okay, yeah. While I fact check the TJ McCollum thing, why don't you give your okay, or you give your six? Did you give you did give your six? Yeah. So why don't we go on to defense player of the year?
Oh, defense player of the year. Yeah, that one I think is tricky because I think the stats are going to say Wemby, the counting stats, kind of like they did this year. But I've got like this feeling deep down, and I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling it. Evan Mobley. I'm feeling Evan Mobley. I really am, and he's who I got for deep boy. I feel like the Cavs are going to be a strong regular season team.
I like that. I try not to give back to back picks. Yeah, I picked Mobley last year. I try not to predict the two same guys in a row. I strongly considered Mobley, but I decided to go with the safe pick. I'm going to go with Bam Adebayo, which I know a lot of people are gonna accuse him of the voters giving him the Joel Embiid treatment because Bam Adebayo has complained a lot about not winning DPOY. I feel like his is pretty justifiable though, because he's been a top 3 defender in the league for a little while now. So, but yeah, I'm expecting the Heat to be a little better this year, and I'm expecting Bam Adebayo to like. I'm kind of expecting Jimmy Butler to like officially hand the keys over to Bam Adebayo as like the face of the franchise.
I hope so.
So
I mean,
yeah,
but sadly, I've got a weird feeling with Bam that he's going to end up like Tim Duncan and be one of those guys that we know was great at defense but never gets the
yep,
DPOY. You know?
yeah, exactly. Mhm. So yeah, he's one of those guys. Yeah, yeah. You mentioned Wemby, you mentioned Mobley. Obviously Rudy Gobert is always a possibility, but I don't think it's not this year. They're probably not.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
depending on how Memphis does, JJJ could be in the mix too. Naturally,
abs- wait. Oh yeah, I included him in my second team. So yeah, he's another definitely possibility. Yeah, that'd be a second. Cool. And last and most importantly, we got the MVP race. Why don't you give
yeah.
your pick? Yeah, for that.
MVP. Okay, so this was weird because based on everything in me, I feel like the answer obvious, like the obvious answer is probably Luca, but the 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 feeling I've got for this Grizzlies squad, Ja Morant is my underdog MVP pick. I'm going with Ja Morant for MVP.
I like it. Um, that would shake the league for sure. Getting
Yeah,
suspended for 25 games, playing like 4 or 5 games, and then yeah, and then coming back and winning MVP. And which
narrative,
if you won,
narrative.
yeah, if you won the MVP after getting suspended for that long, that would be one of the most underrated stories ever. Because I'm not saying what John Morant did wasn't wrong. Like it was clear, like he was clearly in the wrong. Um,
Mm,
but still, like I do feel like I feel like most of like the fans and the media, maybe not the media, but like definitely most of the fans are rooting for the guy. Like they're hoping that he
mhm,
comes back. Because as we mentioned, like we love a good redemption story because like yeah, like I think his heart's in the right place. I think he's a good person. He's just a good guy
mhm.
who messed up. That and like that's what I think happened. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he's a
like
kid that did like a kid thing. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
I understand that he's a grown man. We hold him to grown man standards and yada yada. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean,
Which yeah.
it was a silly thing, and I feel like he's learned his lesson.
I think he has to, and yeah, that would be an awesome story, and I would support 100%. And I don't think the media would be anti-voting for him because yeah, like I think he has shown that he's growing. But yeah, don't hate that pick at all. My pick. I would have considered boring. It is maybe boring, but however, I do feel like he's not really being mentioned in the MVP conversation. I'm gonna go with Giannis.
Yeah,
Yeah, he hasn't won his MVP since 2020. However, I think the Bucks had so much against them this year to where obviously they traded for Dame like a week before training camp. Um, then they obviously they ended up firing their coach halfway through the year. Most of their 2 best players got injured first round of the playoffs. I think that yeah, I think the Bucks are going to surprise people this year. People ask me as a Celtics fan who I'm most afraid of. I'm not afraid of the Knicks. I'm not afraid of the Sixers. I'm kind of afraid of the Bucks. At the end of the day, Giannis is phenomenal, and I know he has his playoff shortcomings, but I think that Damian Giannis when Damian Giannis were on the court together, like, it wasn't Damian Giannis that struggled. It was their bench that struggled, and also I guess Damian
mhm.
Giannis kind of struggled without each other, so that was the main thing there. I think a full training camp. A full summer together, which grants I know that Giannis said they didn't really work out together, but like still like a full summer of like entertaining the idea of them not the entertaining, but like the idea of like them knowing they're going to play together over the summer. I'm expecting both of them to be awesome this year. Maybe not the Bucks to be awesome, but yeah, I'm expecting both Dame and Giannis to be much better this year than last year.
I think that's big because the one thing that they have going for them is I think they're both being tremendously underestimated right now,
Yes, absolutely.
and they both have chips on their shoulder, and that could
Mhm.
definitely play into their favor. So I could definitely see Giannis winning it. That's a good call.
Awesome. All right, yeah. So yeah, we're just coming up in the hour mark. So yeah, we'll call it a show for now. But Gory, before I sign off, you want to give a couple plugs before we go?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, first and foremost, I want to appreciate you letting me on here. This has been a ton of fun. Then I want to plug a couple things. I want to plug Hoop Social on all social media platforms, and then I want to plug the Creator Hour, which is also on the Sports Fluent Network. We are on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us whenever you can. It's been a lot of fun, my guy. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. Yeah, it's always a pleasure. So, perfect timing with the banner. Make sure to follow All American Hooper on all social media platforms. Subscribe to at Sports Fluence on YouTube to catch every episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. As Ori mentioned, he has his shows on Fridays at 8 p.m. Got a bunch of other great shows as well. We got Fluent and Chill Mondays at 8 p.m. Chilltown Hoops is also on, I think, Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So, so obviously we're extremely excited for the season coming up. I'm going to try to see if I can squeeze in another episode probably on Sunday to give my other predictions for the season. But yeah, this has been another episode of the All American Hoops podcast, and I hope